Hello, today we are going to do a revision lesson for your English for Oral Communication module. Here you will be having two parts for the revision lesson. First, how to prepare for your presentation or the assignment and the past paper discussion. When we come to your assignment, you will be getting two parts. One is oral presentation and the other one is oral examination. In the oral presentation, based on the written assignment, you are supposed to prepare a PowerPoint presentation for 10 to 15 minutes. The same written assignment or the question will be given to you. As an example, is education too commercialized nowadays? Argue. So argue gives you an idea what type of presentation that you are supposed to present. Based on your written assignment or the speech, you need to prepare 10 to 20 Microsoft PowerPoint slides for a 10 to 15 minutes of talk. That is your oral presentation. Before you prepare your presentation, these are the things that you are supposed to remember. You are to remember the occasion, the audience, and the purpose of your presentation. When you prepare your presentation, remember to use phrases rather than whole sentences to write the text of your slides. And use numbered or bulleted lists to organize and present your main and supporting ideas on a given slide. And also make your slides visually interesting by using suitable colors for the background and embedded symbols and pictures if appropriate. When you prepare your presentation slides, use the guidelines below. If you are to make 8 slides, you can have about 9. So the first slide can be about the title, and then the second 2 slides can be used to give your introduction. Third, fourth, fifth and sixth slides can be used to include your content, giving examples. And the last 2 slides can be used for your conclusion. These are the things to remember when you prepare your presentation. Presentation appropriately cites requisite number of references. That means when you present your information in a logical sequence, you should present them appropriately, citing requisite number of references. Not only that, the technical term should be well defined in language appropriate for the target language or the target audience. And information included in your presentation should be relevant to the overall message or overall purpose. And in your conclusion, there should be a summary of your presentation. And right throughout your presentation, good language skills and pronunciation should be used. As an example, you should use a clear, audible voice when you present your speech. Then the visual aids you are using, the PowerPoint presentation, should be well prepared, informative, effective, and should not distract the audience. Delivery should be controlled and smooth. Information should be well communicated. And last, keep that in mind, the length of the presentation is within the assigned time limits. Oral examination. In your oral examination, you are to play a role and interact in a group of 4 students. That is the maximum number. You will be given a role and assigned different descriptions before the group interaction exam started. How we are going to conduct that exam? First, we are going to appoint a date and a time, and a group of 4 students, a friend, some of them can be yours, will be invited to the exam room. And then the students will proceed to sit randomly around a table facing the examiner. Then you will be given a piece of paper. There will be few papers with details of the scenario, stating a group of students to assume a specific assigned role or roles with descriptions to act out. You will be given some time to prepare silently before you are going to interact with your group members. But you are not allowed to write on the question paper nor remove it from the table. Any member of your group can start the interaction. But to score high marks, students or you should get into your assigned topic and attempt to speak more convincingly and confidently using appropriate strategies for effective communication. There will be a timer who will time the session, and when the time is out, the examiner will signal to stop and the group of students will then exit the exam room. Although these are not very important, but you have to keep these things in your mind as well. We will award marks to each group member, and we will enter your marks in numbers. And the next group in line will then be invited to enter the exam room and for their interactive session. And when we send you out of the exam room, you are not allowed to discuss the scenario and the roles with other students who have not taken up the exam. So that is the discussion, or what I want to tell you about the assignment. Let's go to the final paper. In the final paper of your English for Oral Communication, you will be getting a paper which contains 10 questions. You are to answer all questions. There will be 6 marks for each question, totaling up to 60 marks. Before we are going to read some questions of your final paper, let's just roughly go through your module. The first unit of your module is English for Communication. The learning outcomes are: define what is meant by communication, list the main type of communication, describe 3 models of communication, explain the different forms that oral communication can take. If somebody asks you the question communication, you are to answer these things with these things. Skill of interacting with people, a skill that can be acquired and it comes naturally. And then you are supposed to know some sort of explanation about or definition about communication. Here is the definition of Carl Rogers, Elizabeth Tian, Julia T. Wood. And then you should know what the key terms in those definitions are. Something like process, systematic, symbols, and meanings. And then here is Joseph DeVito's definition. And Joseph DeVito lists 6 elements which are present in all communication acts. They are physical, social, psychological, temporal and cultural, and they come in the context element. Then source receiver, because there is a speaker and a receiver or a listener in communication. Then the message and the channel. And then there is noise effect in the communication system. According to Camp and Satterwhite, there are three ways of communication. They are oral, written, and non-verbal, where no words are used. Feelings are expressed and conveyed through facial expressions, gestures, and body movements. Ways of oral communication according to your module are face-to-face conversations, meetings, voicemail messages, teleconferencing, oral presentation, and public speaking. Ways of written communication are letters, faxes, memos, email, reports, minutes of meetings, tables, diagrams, news releases, charts, and graphs. More information should be read on these ways of written communication. And non-verbal communication, like I said before, appearance, posture, eye contact, nervousness, grooming, and dressing. So here you are supposed to read about these things. The purpose of communication. Generally, they are to inquire, to inform, to persuade, and to develop goodwill. According to your module, there are three models of communication: linear, interactive, and transactional. These are the figures that they describe the models. There are 7 forms of oral communication. What are they? Intrapersonal, interpersonal, small group, public, mass, corporate, and intercultural. With that, we come to the first topic. Then the second topic, it deals with some basic principles. The learning outcomes are: classify the basic principles of oral communication, explain why oral communication is important, describe the roles of speakers and listeners in the communication process, identify interferences in communication. So what are the principles of communication? First, oral communication is a two-way process that requires both a speaker and a listener. It is most effective when the sender of a message has good speaking skills and the receiver has good listening skills. That means two skills are involved in communication, that is speaking and listening. Listening skill. Listening skill is a mindful attention. All listening skills have mindful attention. That is, it has listening, receiving, understanding, remembering, evaluating, and responding steps. There are two ways of listening. One is passive and the other one is active. When it is passive listening, it has low level of concentration and minimum number of word absorption happens. But in active listening, there is high level of concentration as well as there are many number of word absorption because the listener actively engaged in the process. How to improve your active listening? First, paraphrase the speaker's ideas in simple words. That is, when you are the listener. Identify your weaknesses. Are you hearing impaired, mentally unprepared, or easily distracted? Prepare yourself mentally and physically to listen. And set priorities. That is, what are the important things you want to listen to. Speaking skills. Wood, according to his 2009 book, lists 3 principles for oral communication. They are: interpretation of symbols create meaning. There are rules in communication like regulative and constitutive rules, and then punctuation. The fourth rule was introduced by Camp later, and that is voice attributes, because some voice attributes affect our quality of speech. Why do we need good oral communication skills? Because it helps building friendships, it helps to acquire knowledge, and also it develops workplace competencies. Roles of speaker and listener. First, to evaluate the situation. With this, you will avoid miscommunication, you will be able to give and receive feedback as well as maintain goodwill. Understand needs: physical, security, social, esteem, and self-actualization needs. And also use interpersonal skills. That means make your statements, have a positive attitude, be a good listener, keep things confidential, and be considerate. What is interference in communication? According to DeVito, there are several types of noise that might interfere with the communication process. They are physical interference, physiological interference, psychological interference, and semantic interference. There are more details in your module, and you are to read that module to gain a little bit of knowledge for your past paper. Let's go to the topic 3. In topic 3, you will be dealing with active listening skills. They are let's say what is active listening. Active listening refers to ways of listening attentively and responding to the other person so as to improve mutual understanding. It has several benefits. It enables people to listen attentively to others. It prevents misunderstanding. It encourages the speaker to explain more. And there are some tips for active listening. Focus on the message, anticipate what the speaker wants to say, identify main and supporting points, check for bias, listen between the lines, and minimize distractions. If you can go through with your module, then you will be understand what all these means. Implicit listening, or a comprehension of speaker intention. In active listening, it is sometimes necessary to predict where a speaker is going or will say next. So that is what is implicit listening. There are certain keywords that can help us identify this. There are some questions in one of your past papers regarding this. For instance, in a lecture, phrases such as "today I am going to talk about," or "firstly," or "my point is that," offer clues as to how the speaker is going to structure the talk. Listening for emotive or persuasive language. Listening for this type of language by speakers is an important skill because it influences our decisions on various matters in life. There are certain words which gives you the idea of emotive language. Some of them are adjectives, adverbs, and some explanation words. So look out for those emotive words when you are listening accurately. Listening for speaker bias and stereotyping in message. In order to be able to make an objective and fair judgment, we should listen for speaker bias and stereotyping in messages. If not, we won't be able to gather the information in a correct way. Listening for enjoyment. Listening for pleasure includes listening to songs, poems, and other aesthetic and enjoyable things. and it brings happiness and enjoyment to your life. Some of the questions in exam past papers are: give 3 benefits of active listening, you know what they are, and differentiate the 2 sounds in English, hit and heat. We will, because they explain, or it says how it affects our communication. Explain the difference between hearing and listening. What is hearing and what is listening? Let's go to the next unit. This is listening in formal academic context. There are certain specific skills in listening in formal and academic situations. Some of them are: knowing, you should know the purpose of listening. You should listen for ideas in a sequence. Listen for language cues to differentiate between facts and opinion, because you are listening to some academic ideas. Then determine meaning from the speaker's intonations and enhance understanding based on complete texts. Therefore, an important skill in active listening is the ability to identify the overall topic of a lecture and follow the development of main ideas. In addition, you need to be able to identify relationship between ideas and supporting points. To do so, you should be able to make interpretations and inferences, including identifying cause and effect relationships and drawing logical conclusions. Other than that, in active listening, you should be familiar with the lecturer's delivery style, spoken and written register, and non-verbal cues such as intonation, pause, emphasis. When listening to lectures, students often face the following problems. What are they? First, decoding or recognizing what has been said, and comprehending, which means understanding the main and subordinate points delivered in the lecture, and taking notes or writing down quickly, briefly and clearly the main points presented for future reference. These are the problems that you will face when hearing or when listening to your lectures. Lecturers' presentation or lecturing styles include the following. So your attention should be focused on these ideas. First, reading style. If the lecturer reads from his lecture notes, the speech is characterized by short tone groups. Few changes in intonation and use of a falling tone can be recognized. In conversational style, the lecturer speaks informally with or without notes, using longer tone groups and key sequences that range from high to low level. And rhetorical style. What is rhetorical style? That is the lecturer in his element as a performer. The presentation is characterized by wide intonation range. That is, the lecturer may deviate from one intonation range to the other, with the lecturer often using the high key and frequently making digressions and asides. So as students, you should be aware of some important aspects of lectures. That is, you should be able to differentiate between whether the lecturer gives some information or whether he develops an argument point by point with a discussion of ideas within a problem solving framework. There are certain cues that point listeners to important ideas and information in the lecture. They are stress, intonation and pauses, they come in one characteristics, and then using of relative clauses or other supporting clauses, another characteristic, and logical connectors, numbers and other phrases, and vocal underlining. There are certain markers in the lecture where you will be able to identify. Some macro markers are higher order discourse markers signaling major changes and emphasis in lectures. And there are some micro markers which are lower in order making, and they are used for segmentation and inter-sentence connections. There are certain examples in your module. Listing for sequence in ideas. There are some of the sequence words commonly used to organize ideas, and they are mentioned in your module, and you are to read it before you go for your final exam. Listing for specific language cues to understand facts and opinions, and what are they? Listing for meaning from intonation. What is intonation? There are two types: falling intonation and rising intonation. Listing for comprehension from complete discourse. That is, the objective of taking notes is to help you concentrate on what the speaker is saying and to provide you with a summary for later reference or revision. The general principle is to reduce the length by shortening sentences and words. To take quick notes, these are the things that you have to have in your mind. Showing connection between ideas by using space, numbers and letters. That is the end of topic 4. Here you important ideas are the rising and the falling intonation, so better to have an extra look on intonation. Let's go for speech training. That is the next topic. What is speaking? A skill that needs to be developed and practiced independently of the grammar curriculum is called speaking. The basic elements in speaking are pronunciation, articulation, stress, and intonation. When you pronounce words, you always should pay your attention to the vowel sounds such as a, e, o, and r. Then the consonants and the consonant clusters, double vowels, silent vowels, past endings, final y, final say. They are tips on how to improve your pronunciation. To do that, you have to listen and watch English programs on radio and television. You can listen to English songs, you can watch English movies and news, and also use a dictionary with the phonetic alphabet page. Intonation, word stress and sentence stress are related to pronunciation too. Some useful tips on the use of intonation. As I told you, this is a very important part in your English for oral communication. Use rising intonation to show it is a question. That means if you are asking a question, you have to use rising intonation as much as possible. But when you won't show it is a statement, then you have to use a falling intonation. And use a very high pitch to indicate that you are surprised. Use a very low pitch to indicate that you are angry. and if your pitch is too neutral, it may suggest that you are bored or uninterested in the conversation. Enunciation is the act of pronouncing words. Enunciation is from the Latin word enunciate, meaning declaration. Verbal enunciation is an act of speaking. Good enunciation helps you to speak clearly and concisely. The opposite of good enunciation is mumbling or bad pronunciation. Stress. Stress and intonation are important in speech. We spoke about intonation. They signal meaning, attitude, and grammar. When it comes to stress, there are two types. One is word stress and the other one is sentence stress. In word stress, stressing certain syllables signal their meaning. In words, in a sentence, stress picks out the most important words. They point to new and unknown information in the sentence. When we stress in a word, it helps you to tell whether it belongs to a noun category or subject category or verb category or some other category, because there are certain places where stress lies. In word stress, the emphasis, like I said, can fall on the first, middle or end syllables. In a compound word, that means words formed from two words tend to be stressed on the first syllable. And in a sentence, the use of stress in a sentence helps us to both understand and deliver meaning, especially in long utterances. Intonation. Intonation is the way our voice goes up and down in speech. Earlier, I used to say what is rising intonation and falling intonation. And table 5.1 of your module will give you more detail on this intonation. Grammar and intonation. How this grammar and intonation is related will be is there in table 5.2 of your module. So go through that table as well. Intonation and attitude. Intonation signals attitude toward the situation because it shows you mild pleasure or relief, surprise, sarcasm or boredom. And then the rhythm. Rhythm is a simple way of breaking down sentences into component parts. Look at the following sentence. After lunch, I went to the library to get a book. There, the slash mark show you where you are supposed to break down the sentence. Voice modulation and projection. Projected voice can be heard at the back of your classroom. Two areas of voice projection are breathing techniques and resonators. And with that, we go to the next unit, that is topic 6. Topic 6 deals with speaking in a social context. What is a social context? When we interact with family members at home, with friends and colleagues at the workplace or place of learning, and also with people in town, we conduct speech in social context. Sometimes we start conversations with people we do not know. This can happen at the bus stop, in the queue, or at the cafeteria. So we talk about weather or sports with these people, and they are very short. What tense do we use when we are handling small talks? In making small talks, we can use different tense depending on the subject matter. If you refer to something past, you should use past tense. If you are talking about something present, then it is present tense. The small talk topics are this: the weather, sports, office, politics, education system, hobbies, etc. We ask information and we are asked for information in those small talks. When we are asking for information, it is important to phrase the question carefully so that we get the information we want. On the other hand, when we respond to a question, it is important to give the information asked for. So the response should be relevant, brief, and to the point. Avoid giving winded or vague answers. When we make suggestions and recommendations, especially when we need to help solve problem, we have to be careful. And also when making requests and offers, we have to respond appropriately to people, because it is an important social skill like the previous one. Extending invitations. These are the places where you are handling small talks. Expressing thanks. Speaking in cross-cultural situation. A new platform. When you interact with other people from different cultures, religions, or ethnic groups, remember to mindful about the following. They have different social and cultural practice. They have different significant religious holidays, and there are some different language expressions as well. Guidelines for social communication. Avoid figures of speech or idiomatic expressions because they may harm the person who is listening to. Don't use fancy, cute, or trendy terminology. Use specific and accurate terms. Be careful of words because they have different meanings in different cultures. Avoid using slang. Avoid using abbreviations like ATI for attorney and acronyms like MOE for Ministry of Education. Use the full term when speaking to people from foreign countries. Right. Now let's go group interaction skills. Here, successful group interaction requires active group participation. Everywhere, speaking skills is important. Members may be invited to ask, respond to questions, express opinions, negotiate and give suggestions to achieve the objectives of the meeting. When we are doing so, there are certain things that we have to have in our mind. Different ways of asking questions. We can ask WH questions to seek clarification, then yes/no questions, polite forms. The purposes of questions and responding to them are mentioned in table 7.1 of your module, and you are going to go through those ideas. There are several ideas mentioned here too. They are expressing opinions, agreeing and disagreeing. When somebody asks you for opinion or required to respond to another's, then we have to have some kind of knowledge and feeling when answering them. Suitable examples of suitable expressions are given in table 7.2. Then analyzing the conversation. What do we do to analyze a conversation? Negotiating, that is, in a meeting, take opposing sides on a particular issue, we are to negotiate with the other party. The art of negotiation is helpful in aiming at resolving conflict among people. Arguing and conceding. In a conversation, there are times when one person states an opinion and the other disagrees. There, an argument occurs. But both speakers support their positions with facts and reasons. Sometimes one speaker concedes that the other speaker is right. This means the speaker agrees with the other person, but right after much discussion. Turn taking. This is an important skill in speaking. According to Turnberry, the fundamental rule of turn taking is that speakers should take turns to hold the flow. This means that two speakers should not speak at the same time. There are also two other rules to be observed, which are that long silences are to be avoided and we should listen to when the other speakers speak. The skills we can employ in turn taking: recognize the important or the recognize appropriate moment to get a turn, because you have to wait and keep quiet until your turn takes, signaling the fact that you want to speak. Hold the flow while you have your turn. Recognize when other speakers are signaling to speak. Yield the turn and signal the fact that you are listening to other person. Signals. People who wish to speak often signal formally by raising their hand, but in casual talk, people use certain phrases and words which are known as discourse markers to indicate their wish to speak. And what is important is make everybody active in the discussions or the speech. These are some ways to make group members participate. You can invite other people to give their views. Sometimes this is the role of the chairperson. But members of the group also can invite their peers to give views, because it ensures that everybody participates in the discussion or the meeting. Explanation and justification. When we are asked for our opinions in a discussion, we are to give some kind of explanation and discussion. They are based on our knowledge and feelings. Interrupting and expressing disagreement. Always be convinced to listeners when you support your disagreement with facts. Some wait for their turn to speak and then voice their disagreement, but some interrupt and voice their disagreement. Let's go to the latter part of the module, that is public speaking. In public speaking, we are to identify four main types of speech. Public speaking is a skill which requires more preparation rather than the pep talk. The role of public speaking in professional life is more evident in some occupations. If you are an educator, lawyer, community leader, or salesperson, public speaking will be a routine part of your job as well as an important skill. The importance of public speaking. It improves your social skill as well as academic, professional, and public speaking skills. How to build confidence. First, change the way you think. Think positively, build your confidence, make use of positive visualization, go through positive public speaking experience in your mind. Then systematic desensitization. Reduce physical symptoms related to anxiety. That is skill training, prepare and practice, relaxation techniques, gain experience. A suggested hierarchy of activities. How to overcome your fear of public speaking. First, deliver a speech in front of an audience. Introduce a speaker to an audience. Speak in a group in front of the class at a tutorial. Answer a question during a tutorial session. Ask your tutor a question during a tutorial session. Here, this goes from number 1 down to number 5 up. First, what you are supposed to do is ask your tutor a question. Then number 2, then answer a question during a tutorial session. 3, speak in a group. 4. Introduce a speaker to an audience. 5. Deliver a speech. Tips for giving an effective speech. Now we are leading you all for your public speaking skills. Pay much attention to your appearance, pay much attention to your body language, and also pay attention to your voice, where your pronunciation, intonation, articulation, pause, and volume are mentioned. Different types of speeches. There are different types. One is informative, persuasive, negotiation, and argumentative. In your assessment, you are to prepare for an argumentative speech. Informative speech, there are 3 types: the instruction, demonstration, explanation. They aim at increase your listeners' knowledge, because you are the person, or if you are the speaker, you give them the knowledge, understanding, and abilities pertaining to a particular issue, topic, or skill. You can describe, brief, report. Types of informative speeches. You can instruct, give instruction, demonstration, explanation, description, brief, or report. These are the guidelines for making effective informative speeches. Begin with the clear thesis statement. There are several guidelines given in your module as well. Then persuasive. What is meant by persuasive? They are aimed at influencing listeners' attitude, behavior, beliefs, or sometimes values even. There are 3 types of persuasive speech. Facts, example, jury in a court of law. Values, in religious studies. Policies made by people in power. Guidelines for making this type of speech. First, you have to identify your audience. Then anticipate selective exposure. Expected gradual changes a little at a time. Then make logical appeals and use emotional appeals if that is not enough. Negotiation speeches will resolve a conflict or negotiate, mediate, or be the third party for intervention in a crisis situation. They should distribute, bargain, integrate, bargain, and attitude bargain. These are the types of bargains. Guidelines for making effective negotiation speech. Do your research, abide by the rules, make sure the parties involved trust you, use deductive argument, understand you and other party expectation, know yourself and take stock of your intellectual and emotional makeup, be prepared to make bids and also give concessions. Argumentative. They deal with conflicting opinions or beliefs. The types are debate, heuristic, legal debate, or tournament debate. Most of them are debates. Guidelines for making effective argument speech. They are ought to comply with certain principles or norms. Give reasoned arguments for and against a proposition. Make rational arguments. Debaters need to follow the rules of debate. Critically evaluate your analysis. Be ethical, fair, and honest in your argumentative speech. Introduction to writing and delivering speech. These are the things that you are to go through before preparing your speech. Outline. Outline of the speech will be introduction, body, and conclusion. And at the end, you should also mention your references. And let's go to the preparing of your speech. preparing an oral presentation, and the last one, making an oral presentation. I'm not going to deal with these topics as we are already spoke about these topics. If we can come to the first part again about the final paper, I'll give you some example questions for yourselves. Question number 1. Emotive language reveals a speaker's attitude towards a certain subject and persuades the listener to feel the same. So they will give you a set of sentences where you are asked to underline the emotive words. Here you will be given some sentences. Amazing 3-bedroom bungalow located on the edge of the city with a scenic view of the sea, spacious sitting room, modern kitchen and exquisite tiled porch. You are supposed to find out the emotive words where your emotions are aroused. Search for adjectives and adverbs and the words which give you some descriptions. Question number 2. What a speaker intends to say next is sometimes indicated by language cues. Now here the language cue is on the contrary. Women are bad drivers. So what you are supposed to do is illustrate 2 sentences that you predict the speaker will say after the above sentence. Question number 3. If the question below is uttered with the falling and rising intonation, what do you think is the intention of the speaker? She is a good lecturer, isn't she? She is a good lecturer, isn't she? So there are the 2 different types of intonation, falling and rising. So what does the intention of the speaker in each instances? Number 4. State 3 examples or instances of listening for enjoyment. That you have ready-made answer for that. Number 5. You are in a meeting with the marketing team of your company to find ways of improving the company's profit margin. As a chairperson, how are you going to invite them to contribute to the discussion? That means you are inviting your team to make suggestions. So how are you going to invite them? Number 6. In social interactions, people usually take turns to speak. Identify 4 phrases that can be used to signal your wish to speak. You are supposed to write 4 phrases which you can use to signal you wish to speak. Number 7. Visual aids contribute to a good speech. Prepared and unprepared materials are among the types of visual aids. What you are supposed to do in this question is you are to differentiate both materials and provide an example for each type. Then question number 8. Explain the difference between hearing and listening. What is hearing and what is listening? And what is the difference between these 2? Number 9. Discuss the profile of the audience before one can prepare for his or her oral presentation. So this is something practical. Number 10. Explain the importance of intonation in oral communication. We have spoken a lot about intonation. So you are to explain what is the importance of intonation in oral communication, and you are to provide 2 examples. Why do we use intonation in our speech or in our oral communication? With that, we come to the end of our revision lesson. Hope you will do best. You will do your best in your oral presentation, oral examination, as well as your final paper. Thank you.